All right. Hello, hello, and welcome back. We are on episode number 10 of the monthly money and manifestation show. I am Lindsay Hack, and we are here with, of course, Lisa Marie, and we are
Hi.
talking about all or nothing with money and how to build consistent aligned rhythm instead of that trap that we know. And I know, Lisa, you know what it's about when we have wealth women do this instead. So, hi, how are you? Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
when we talk about these truth bombs, excuse me, that all or nothing trap, it tends to be one of the most exhausting money patterns to be stuck in. And I've noticed, first of all, one, you're not alone because so many get stuck in it. And the reason why is because you're either ignoring your finances completely or you're going into full panic mode every single time you are trying to fix everything because you're trying to fix it overnight instead of, just like us when we talk about exercise and being fit is doing the small steps. It comes down to doing the small, consistent steps, which lead to the big things. And I think that that's just really important.
yeah. And it's funny you just said that because, of course, that's what I was going to go to is why everybody understands all or nothing when it comes to diet or exercise, right? You go all in for 2 weeks, you hate life, and then you quit. That we all have been there. We've done that multiple times. With money, it's the same thing, right? It's like starving your savings account and then force feeding it out of guilt, being like, okay, you got to put the money away, got to put the money away, right? And then we've done really well putting the money away and then we deserve something. So we go and spend all the money, right? It's this whole, it's like whiplash, right? Financial whiplash where you're like, I got to save. I don't have to save. I don't want to save. And we know that when it comes to health and wellness, but we don't tend to see it as much when it comes to financial
Hmm.
wealth. So I think that cycle is a big part of this for sure.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
because
it's
the other thing is the cycle keeps you broke, right? And and here's the thing, is also kind of like having a savings account and you're putting money in it, but then you got to turn around the next day and pull it because you need it somewhere else. And then you're like, well, I'm not getting anywhere. Okay, well, you're trying to put too much in there when you need it. So allocate what you can allocate so that you don't have to then turn around and use it because the cycle keeps you broke, burned out, confused. And you're like, I can't save no matter what I do. Well, that's because you're going about it the wrong way. You're putting thousands of dollars in there when your cash flow is whatever it is, and you should only be putting maybe say 300 in there or 500 in there and then allocating the other part to what you actually need it for. That way it's more consistent and you're going to actually see it go up. And I just think that, we have to remember that if you can't maintain it, it's not going to be sustainable.
And I mean, that goes right back to health and fitness, right? If you can't maintain it, it's
Don't
not
I know it?
sustainable. So let's talk about our wealth lie today. So it says, I have to fix everything right now or I'll never be financially secure.
Okay, I can't say no enough
Enough times.
times to get my point across, but no, 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 and no.
hmm
You can't fix your health overnight. You can't be all of a sudden have muscles overnight and then never have to worry about it. Hello, if I had to, I would never work out. Just
Wouldn't
saying.
that be lovely?
Okay?
Wouldn't that be
Right?
lovely?
Right? You you don't, and the thing is you don't need to fix your entire financial life by Friday. Would it be nice if we could? Sure.
hmm
But that
hmm
pressure alone is what causes the crash and burn cycle in the first place. And I didn't fix mine overnight, by the way. Mine was those small, consistent steps, just like my trainer will remind me when I go to get fuss about my exercising. It's the small, consistent steps that's led to those results. And so I have to remember that my financial situation isn't going to be fixed by Friday. I don't want it to be
Yeah.
fixed by Friday because that's again crash and burn. I burned in December. I burned out bad in December because I was literally trying to do what so many of y'all try to do. And I had to remind myself of that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because urgency is not the same as consistency, right? The
Mhm.
bold sprint that we talk about, won't fix decades of money chaos. And it's the same with health. I mean, as I said, Lisa says it, I will always say it. You didn't get to where you are today, in a week. It's probably more like 2 years, 10 years, 20 years. And so it's the same thing with money,
Mhm.
right? We are spending decades, maybe our entire life, trying to unravel some of this chaos that becomes with money. I know for me, it's definitely my entire life, right? From the beginning to now, almost 50 years later. But it's one intentional step every single day that will help, really, really help. And if we try to do all the things, just like in health, just like in nutrition, just like in everything, if business is another good example. If you try to do all the things, you can only maintain that for so long. And then you will burn out. And that's it, the end.
Mhm.
There's no way to get around that.
Yeah, yeah. And the key is wealthy women know how to play the long game. We may
Yes.
sometimes forget and have to be reminded, but we do know how to play the long game. And it's because they build systems, not stress, and they create habits, not what I like to call Hail Marys. I don't know about you,
Yes.
but I don't want no Hail Mary. I want consistent habits, consistent systems that are going to build long, sustainable wealth. Because if you're not building long, sustainable wealth, all you're asking for is chaos and a whole bunch of Hail Marys.
Yeah, and it's hard, right? That chaos, cycle is extremely hard. I mean, as Lisa just said, December it hits, and then it's March, and it's exhausting, and it's impossible to maintain long term. And this is really where the AI images and vision board that I specialize in becomes that money mirror for you. So instead of seeing yourself swinging from extremes to extreme to extreme, you're actually visualizing yourself in that flow and really saving and spending and coming from a place of peace. And I think this is really, really important to understand. I mean, we've talked about Lisa's, vision board where she's standing in her backyard and she's overlooking the pool. And it's that feeling of flow, that feeling of not this necessarily this very second, but it's that de-stress, that moment where she just looks out and she's feeling good, right? That image is what's going to help bring through the Decembers and any of the other chaoses that come along, because it's helping you visualize the fact that that future self, that person, is there. And that's why we call it the mirror. And it's really, really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing is, you're like, okay, what kind of images can I create? Well, you can create images of you calmly transferring money to savings, enjoying
Mm-hmm.
guilt-free spending within a budget, tracking your finances weekly with zero drama, as my favorite, sipping sweet tea while I'm automating my accounts, right? Showing that you're taking a vacation because you were saving for that vacation. There's all these things that you can do. I love
Yeah,
my
I actually
I love my images. I'm still waiting on my cash image that I've requested. So I love my AI images. I'll just put that out there.
Yeah, and I think, I just did worked with a client where we did an image of him looking at his app and his banking app, and I recreated what his banking app looked like, obviously from just like a screenshot, and there was a certain number in there, and he looks at that image every single morning with that number in his brain. So not only is he saying it, he's also seeing it, and he's also, working with it affirmation wise and all of those things. So
Oh, I
those
want
visuals,
that.
yeah,
I want
we'll put it on the list. We'll put it on the list.
that.
But those visuals really help your nervous system anchor into that safety,
hmm
right?
hmm
And it says, this is who I am now. I don't need to hustle my way to wealth. I need to build it brick by brick. And the image suggestions that Lisa just gave, some of those may not feel right for you, and that's okay. But finding the ones that make the most sense, right? Whether it's the app or the backyard or, sitting at your desk and just, not pulling your hair out, casually looking at your money app. I know I spoke to another client of mine where she's like, every day she follows Lisa's advice and takes a look at her money, right? So whether it be in the app or whatever, and it stresses her out. And so what we did is we created an image of her looking at the app in a calm, I mean, as Lisa has sweet tea, sipping her sweet tea. Most of us, it's not sweet tea, coffee, tea, whatever. But calmly looking at your accounts. And that is going to change how you feel about it in a nervous system perspective as well.
And the more that you know what's going on and the more that you look at it, with you having that image of being calm, you're going to be able to regulate it. And eventually, just like with what happened with me, I now get stressed when I haven't looked at it for a couple of days, whereas I used to get stressed out every single time I looked at it. And that comes to where I'm going to talk about your money rhythm should feel like a playlist, not a panic button. Okay.
Mm.
I now panic if I have not looked at it in a couple of days. I'm like, oh crap, you, because then it feels chaotic. I take 5, 10 minutes every single day just to look, just to check. It's a casual thing. There's no stress. There's nothing with it. And so, AI helps you see that wealth can be actually built in harmony and not in chaos and not in so much of a panic hustle mode that so many think that that's what we've got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We are here to our Fix My Finance question. We got a submission and it said, I go through phases where I'm obsessed with saving or budgeting, and then I burn out and ignore everything for months. How do I balance this? This literally could have been a question I've posted in a group because I feel like, and I've said this to Lisa many times, I do really well when I'm looking at my buckets and I'm seeing them go up and I get really excited about all that stuff. And then it could be one thing that needs replacing, one thing that you have to do that you didn't realize you had to do, something that wasn't kind of in that, plan, and everything goes to shit. And then I feel like I'm done. I don't want to do any of it anymore. So Lisa, talk to us about how we solve this problem.
Well, you're going to start small. Okay. First, you are going to set weekly 10-minute money dates. I said it. We said it just a few minutes ago. Set them. Look at your money. Look at what's going on with your numbers. And then say, okay, I don't recommend having a quote unquote emergency savings. Especially personal, I recommend having specific savings accounts for specific things. So, what's
Mm.
one thing you could have? If you want to start saving towards making sure you have repair money for something that may break in your house, which I recommend everybody have, then start with that, right? Or if you notice school supplies get you like just stressed, then start with one that says my kids and then just start putting money in there, whether it's $5 a week, $5 a month. Honestly, I don't care. It doesn't matter. That the amount going in is not the point. The point is having money go in there. For your business, have a wealth building account. Okay. And have 1 to 2% start going in there to where then later you're able to take that and invest it. And again, it doesn't matter if it's 2%, 3%. I say start with 1 to 2% because a lot of the other percentages need to be allocated somewhere else. The point is just starting.
Yeah, and I think it's such a powerful thing when you do it in small segments because, first it goes against that all or nothing, which is what we're talking about today, but it also feels that empowerment of I'm saving something, but I'm
Mhm.
not, eating rice and beans every day because I'm saving so much that I can't afford anything else, right? That's where that
Right.
burnout really happens. And I think too when it comes to AI images, I always say create that steady wealth rhythm, right? So we talked a little bit about some of the options, but that version of you does exist. So she's grounded, she's powerful, she's not ruled by the fear or shame that kind of comes along with money that we know. So let that image guide you back to center. And I know, Lisa and I have talked about this many times where it's like you can feel yourself kind of getting, raising, ready to explode. And you can take a look at that image of you, whether it's backyard, whether it's looking at your app, whether it's looking at a number that you want to have in your bank account, and it can bring you right back to center. And I think that is a really big part of how we can do this. And so during that 10-minute, money meeting that you have, maybe take some time to look at those images. And if you don't have some, obviously let me know. I can help you out there, but have that so that it can be part of your daily,
Mm-hmm.
weekly, monthly routine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because here's the thing, y'all, I'm gonna be honest. I have my images and I look at them. Okay. Whether it's ones that I created where it looks like one of the character things of me, it's got money going around. I look at it. I look at the ones that Lindsay's done for me. I do that because we have to stop trying to do a full financial makeover overnight. And
Mhm.
when life happens, just like life happened with me last year at the end of the year, we try to fix it overnight, and it's not possible. And you wouldn't do that, which is something I had to remind myself. You wouldn't do that with your health or relationships. And wealth deserves the same patience and love. It deserves the same attention. And that's something I had to remind myself. Okay, did I build it with the right systems? Or did I build it so fast that I didn't have systems in place for when something happens? And I have to admit that not all the systems were there that should have been there. So now I'm building that, and the images will bring me back to that center.
Yeah. And I love this because, let's bring it to business for a quick second. And, think about, if you had a business coach that turned around and said, you need to be posting on, social medias 30 times a day, right? Right out of the gate, you're probably
I've
already going to be
actually
like,
had
what?
somebody tell me that, and I'm like, okay, I will immediately fail.
Yeah.
I'm
You're like,
like,
no,
that's
absolutely.
just,
And that's exactly it. You will immediately fail. Why? Because chances are you're posting maybe one, maybe two times a day today, and then they want you to go up to 30. So with everything we're talking about with this all or nothing mentality, business, health, money, whatever it is, it's start where you are and go slowly up. As Lisa said,
mhm.
1% is where you might be. Do you want to get to 10%? Of course we do. Don't we all want to get higher? But if you start in a small space and you go into that consistently moving, 1%, one time a day, whatever it is, it feels easier and therefore much more attainable, right? You could do 20 times a day for probably a week if you really wanted to, but then you'd ultimately come to that burnout again. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So think of somewhere in your life where you may currently, maybe it's not money, maybe it's not, health, maybe it's not business, where you're currently doing something that feels pretty sustainable, and then model it that way. Because I think for us, we always want to have a challenge for you guys, right? We always want you to go away from listening to this episode and find something. So this week, it's picking one thing that you're going to consistently do for 7 days, right? Whether it's transfer the money of 1% into your savings, whether it's tracking your spending, whether it's setting that 10-minute weekly money date. And maybe it's a 2-minute weekly money date first, right? Maybe that's all you have right now, and that's okay. But, doing something consistently for those 7 days. And again, of course, I recommend having an AI image that's going to help you do it calmly,
Mhm.
taking that action confidently and consistently, but doing something. And don't just listen to this, close your computer and go off the same way as you always have. We want you to really take away from this and focus on how we create these changes and do it every single month as we go forward.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely, absolutely. We
yes.
have our challenge of the month.
Mhm.
And did you go over to that? Did we go over that?
Yeah,
Did we
just
do that?
pick
Yes.
the
Did we
one
did.
thing. But this is what I would like you to do, Lisa. So let's talk about your wealth alignment call for a second, because some people might be sitting here being like, I love everything you guys are saying. This is amazing. But I still don't know exactly where to start. So, what can they do with
Oh,
you for
okay.
your wealth alignment call?
Well, with the wealth alignment call, we picked the one biggest thing that you want to focus on, and we talk about it, and I build out what it can help you with. So, like, basically, you walk away with a system that'll work on that one big thing. So, if there's just one thing you're stuck on, right, in that 60 minutes, it's 45 minutes actually, we'll actually go into it. And then you get a report afterwards that goes into detail. Okay, giving you the steps that I went over so that you can actually start doing the small steps. So think of it as kind of like a mapped out plan for like the next 30 days, or something like that. That's kind of where it ends up going with the ones that do it, and they love it because it breaks it down into steps, and they're able to go, okay, take care of step 1 for these first days and get into that habit, and then they've got the next step to go and do. And they start seeing, oh, okay, this doesn't have to be as chaotic and as difficult as my brain is making me think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in that, guys, definitely drop rhythm or wealth down below, and definitely book it. There'll be a link somewhere too that you can just click the
Mm-hmm.
link on. So remember, the whole idea is that wealth isn't built in extremes. Okay, it's not. It's built with rhythm, and we want to let your money flow, right? Match your energy, steady, empowered, and sustainable. And that is the key to, instead of being all or nothing, doing it with rhythm and flow. And I think it's really important to keep that in mind because we know how easy it is to go balls to the wall and then crash and burn. And that is a cycle that nobody loves to be in any areas of our life. So
Yep.
definitely try our monthly challenge. And next time we're going to be diving into the energetic alignment of wealth. This one is going to be incredible because it's thoughts, beliefs, actions, how we repel money, how we, magnetize, how it comes to us. I'm so excited about this. And then how we can use AI images, vision boards to
To
rewire your
rewire
frequency.
them. Yes. To
Yes, it's going to be
rewire.
exciting.
Yes. It's gonna be
So
good. It's gonna
exciting.
be good.
Yeah.
It's
But
gonna be
so
good.
thank you as always for joining us
Yes.
for
Thank
our
you.
monthly episodes. And we cannot believe that we're on episode 10. So
I
thank you for
know.
listening to us. And of course, if you do want to have your question answered live on our show, just send them to our way. Send them to either Lisa or myself. We can help you out and answer them live for you as well. But have yourself a
Yep. Absolutely.
fantastic day. And we shall speak to you guys real soon.
Bye.